And welcome back to Auto Social UK and to another episode of Pocket Rocket Polls. On today's episode we're going to be looking at a Volkswagen. Volkswagen have always been well known for producing some really fun little cars. Think anything with a GTI badge on it. But you might be thinking, Tish, this isn't a Polo GTI. Well, it's not. This is the Polo Blue GT. But with a 0 to 62 time which fits smack bang in the middle of the Adam S and the DS3 Sport, and a performance of just under 150 brake horsepower, it's actually really competitive in this class. The Polo GT was produced to mix up the performance, but with some really good fuel economy as well, and it's actually a pretty practical car. So what Pocket Rocket Polls is I take various small, fast cars from different brands and pin them against each other from out of 10 for things like performance, handling, and even how practical they are. So if that sounds interesting, then please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Okay, let's get into it. Some of the Polo Blue GT style elements have definitely been lifted from the GTI, but it certainly has its own look and presence. It got a blacked out front grille, as well as wider side skirts. This one is also finished in Volkswagen's deep black pearl, which is definitely one of the best black paintworks on the market. You got unique 18-inch alloy wheels, and as you can see, coming round to the back, the previous owner has actually added some rear tinted windows. It also benefited from a small rear spoiler, which certainly doesn't live up to the presence of the Adam S, and a pair of twin tailpipes. Again, as you can see in this model, the previous owner has added a few tweaks, including some smoked rear lights and also blacked out the badges. Now this really does make this car look a lot more sporty than perhaps it would have done if it was standard. I can't really take the modifications into account because that's not how the car come and it's not how you'd buy it on the market. I think personally the upgrades have made this car look awesome, but without them it could have looked a little bit plain, and it certainly doesn't have the attitude and the uniqueness of the Adam S or the DS3 Sport. So for that reason I'll have to give it a 6 out of 10. I personally think that Volkswagens of this age are really high quality. Nothing feels cheap or plasticky and it all feels really well made. You get a very nice leather wrapped flat bottom steering wheel, which is exactly the same as you'll find in the Golf GTI and the Polo GTI, except it just gets a GT badge instead. You also get these really nice front sport seats in the Blue GT, which are finished in grey leather and blue suede. They're definitely a better alternative if you don't like the Jaccara that you get in the GTI. Specification on the Polo Blue GT is okay. You get cruise control, a colour touchscreen with all your DAB radio. You also get heated door mirrors. This model has actually been upgraded to have a light and sight pack, which gets you automatic lights and automatic rain sensing wipers. And it's also had mirror link added as well, so that means that you can use your smartphone for Apple Maps and different things like this. Those different options definitely elevate the Polo GT to being a good spec, but without them it falls slightly behind some other cars. But interior quality really does just pull up that score, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Space and practicality is where the Polo scores really highly. In fact, it's actually the first 5-door we've had on Pocket Rocket Polls so far. But what do you think? Can a Pocket Rocket be a 5-door, or does that not really count? Let me know in the comments below. Me personally, I like a 5-door. I think it makes life so much easier. And the space continues round to the boot as well, with the Polo having one of the biggest boots in its class. Inside this boot you'll find 280 litres, which is way more than you'll get in something like an Abarth, and it even beats the Fiesta ST. It also benefits from quite a wide opening as well, so getting things in and out is really easy. Despite the fact that the Polo's got some chunky front sport seats, I've still got plenty of legroom, and I've got more than enough headroom as well. It's also good to note that the Polo has 5 seats. You're probably not going to want to carry 3 people back here for too long of a journey, but actually it's always a benefit to have. Storage is also really generous. This one's been spec'd up with a centre armrest with some storage inside. You've got some generous door bins, plenty of space in the glove box, a couple of front cup holders, and on the Polo GT, you even got some hidden storage under the seats. Practicality and storage is so good on the Polo. It's one of the best in its class, and I'll have to give it a 9 out of 10. So for a car that was designed to blend performance with fuel economy, what does the Polo Blue GT sound like? Unfortunately, it really is missing the exhaust notes that you get in the Polo GTI. I'll have to score it pretty low on this one and give it a 2 out of 10. The Polo Blue GT has a 1.4 litre, 4-cylinder, turbocharged and supercharged engine. The latter is for your low down acceleration and the former is to really add that top end thrust. That Blue GT engine produces 148 brake horsepower and that's paired with 250 Nm of torque. And that gives the Polo GT a 0 to 62 time of 8.4 seconds. The Polo Blue GT is often overshadowed by its slightly brisker GTI brother. However, the Polo GT's performance should definitely not be sniffed at. After all, that 0 to 62 time sits right in the middle of the Adam S, which came in at 8.5 seconds, and also the DS3 Sport, which was around 8.1 seconds. So it might not be the fastest variant of the Polos, but it's definitely not slow. But then the Blue GT model has the added bonus, because this wasn't actually designed to be the performance model. That's left for its brother, the GTI. This is actually supposed to be the economical vehicle. This car will do up to 60 miles per gallon if you treat it nicely. But to be honest, even whilst I'm pushing it hard, it's still getting up to 40 miles per gallon and is only £20 to road tax, which is pretty cool. So how exactly does the Blue GT get such good mile per gallon figures? Well, that's because it's fitted with Volkswagen's active cylinder technology, and what that basically means is when the car warrants it, it'll actually switch off 2 of its cylinders, meaning that it's only running on 2 cylinders opposed to 4, and this saves a lot of fuel. This car does feel somewhat off of the performance of the GTI, as the numbers expect. It's not exactly brimming with excitement, but it's still a really nice drive, and you confidently feel like you'll be able to take over in this vehicle. Now, I wish I could give bonus points for fuel efficiency, but in a segment like Pocket Rocket Poles, you've really got to pay attention to the power, and for that reason, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The model that I'm driving today is fitted with the 6-speed manual gearbox, which is really nice to see a 6-speed manual in a car this size, as when you get out on the open road, it doesn't scream or feel like you need to change gear, so that's a really nice addition. Me personally, I'd probably opt for the DSG gearbox, and you do even get the flappy paddles in the Blue GT. However, I think for a lot of people, the manual is going to give a lot of enjoyment. Despite the fact that it rides on 18-inch wheels for such a small car, it's actually still reasonably comfortable, and that's probably helped out a lot by these really supportive seats. It's also got a softer suspension than what you'll find in the GTI model, but it still handles corners well and it has lots of grip. The Blue GT also has Volkswagen's XDS differential lock, which applies brake pressure to the inside wheel in corners to reduce body roll. As a result, the car feels sure-footed in bends and is completely composed and reassuring when pushing on, giving you the confidence to explore its ability. Thanks to that RDX differential technology and the fact that it's got light steering and it's really quite comfortable compared to something like the GTI, it means that it's a really easy car to live with. And for handling and comfort, I'll have to give it an 8 out of 10. Next up is a round that I find quite difficult to judge the Polo Blue GT in, and that's price. Because at £10,000 it sounds reasonably expensive. You can get a Seat Leon FR for that price, or for £1,000 less you can get the faster Mini Cooper S, or for a lot less you could get an Abarth 595, but then of course you wouldn't get quite the performance that you get out of this car. But where the Polo makes up for its high price is in its low tax and its great mile per gallon. This will do up to 50 miles per gallon, so it's got really good fuel economy. So it might have a high price, but you're definitely going to save on those tax and fuel costs. But then, should I be counting tax and fuel costs on a Pocket Rocket Pulse? Should this all be about outright performance? I'm not too sure. I think because of its practicality and because of how good it is on fuel, and because of its slightly high price, I'm going to sit it somewhere around in the middle, and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. So the scores are in, and the Polo Blue GT scores a 6.5 out of 10, which sits it smack bang in the middle of the DS3 Sport and the Vauxhall Adam S. I just don't think it's got enough personality to live up to the Vauxhall Adam S. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Should I score it higher, or should I have scored it lower? Or do you agree with me? Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you liked it, please go ahead and give it a massive thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you are looking for a new car and you like the look of the Polo Blue GT, then it is for sale here at Quest Motor Group. And you'll get all of those nice customisations, plus the light and sight pack, and also the Apple CarPlay. If you are interested, click the link in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!